Hey, can I come in?
Yeah, come on.
Congressman, good to see you. Olszewski.
Johnny O. Olszewski.
Johnny O. We'll
Yeah.
call you. So I find this kind of stuffy in the office. Can you walk us around? I just want to sit. Yeah, it's kind of boring. Thank you for doing this.
Sure, of course.
So what's going on in the world?
You know, a lot's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And I think most recently, we're seeing political leaders being unable to condemn something as basic as political violence.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're seeing Democrats and Republicans fan the flames in the wake of a terrible tragedy.
Yeah.
And
So you don't believe it's just one side, as some folks are saying, and it's just mainly on the left.
it's definitely not mainly on the left. It's happening far too much. It shouldn't be hard for anyone to say political violence is wrong, to condone the actions, to feel sympathy for a wife and for children.
Amen.
As a father, as a husband, right? Like,
right there.
yeah. And look, I respect my colleagues' ability to post and memorialize whomever they want. But we've seen a terrible rise in political violence. We've seen it with the shootings of the lawmakers in Minnesota. We saw it with both Gabby Giffords and Steve Scalise here in the nation's capital. We saw an attempted assassination on the president. I mean, it's all wrong. And trying to vilify and attack people as a result, I think only divides us further. And it's been frustrating to see.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think, though, what frustrates me is no one fact checks the president or whomever it is who says it's mainly vice president, Pam Bondi. It's mainly on the left. When you look at the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, 75% political violence, right wing. If you look at the Cato Institute, one has to do is look at the numbers. Far right wing political violence far outpaces any other form of political violence.
Yeah, I mean, the facts are what they are. But I'm not in the business of trying to say that anyone who has a Republican or a conservative ideology is bad as a result of those numbers. I'm someone who says that we need to rise above that, and to see both the president and especially most recently the vice president come out with some of the most divisive rhetoric around this issue. It's tragic, because we are the ones who can change it. People say, well, how do we change it? I mean, it's literally members of Congress. It's literally the president and the vice president who are the ones who should be stepping forward and uniting this country in a different sort of way than what we're seeing.
Does it concern you? I have concerns about the First Amendment, the right to free speech, and trampling on it. Pam Bondi is getting criticism even from our own party now, even from staunch conservatives, MAGA folks, saying she's got this whole idea about hate speech wrong and going after people for their opinions and their points of view.
I mean, it's the same thing with Charlie Kirk. I couldn't have disagreed with him more on most of what he had to say, and some of the vitriol that his speech, but it was his right to say it.
Right.
And he did not deserve to die for what he believed and for what he spoke. And I think what we're seeing with the Attorney General and her comments about free speech is it either exists or it doesn't. We have to respect someone's right to say mean, hateful things or not. And so, just like we've seen with the Epstein files, both with Pam Bondi and the president and the vice president, Republican members of Congress, I'm actually encouraged to see some of the president's own supporters actually continue to push for things that they have stood for prior to his election, and not sort of say, well, whatever you say is right because you're saying it. So
Let's talk about the Epstein files.
Yeah.
To me, that's one of the most important stories in the country right now. The leader of the free world, president of the United States, reportedly in the files. The Justice Department reportedly ordering the FBI to redact his name from those files.
Yeah.
That should be concerning to every American.
Deeply concerning. We've already seen the British Prime Minister let go because of his involvement. Pam Bondi has already told the president, there's been credible reporting that he is in the files. So you would think that the president, if he's in the files and he's done nothing wrong as he professes, which I don't entirely believe, by the way, but if that's the case, you would think he'd want to clear his name. He would want to have these files out there. Instead, we're seeing obstruction and people who are fighting the release of these files. And it feels more and more like a cover-up. And so the American people, I think, are rightly asking, what is the president, what is his administration covering up? What is the connection? We know that there was an economist survey that 50% of Americans believe that the president is associated with Epstein's crimes. And so the easiest and the cleanest way is to just release the files. Fortunately, we are one vote away, one petition signature away from forcing a vote in the House on the release. We just elected a new member from Virginia who signed. We're going to be electing a new member in New Mexico in the coming weeks who we know will sign. That will force the vote. So it's going to happen. And I would just encourage the president and all of his supporters to support this. I would encourage my Republican colleagues that Thomas Massie has been incredibly courageous on this issue, incredibly consistent. There are just a few Republicans who have signed, but we can get this done. We should release it, and let's end it once and for all.
Do you think that the American people will ever see those files? Redacted or unredacted?
I sure hope so. I mean, 97%, give or take, of what's been released is already public. And it really begs the question, like, what are you hiding? Why are you fighting so hard to release these files? This is some of the most heinous, awful crimes that have been committed by just an awful, terrible person. And if you have been associated with those crimes, you would think that we would want to hold those individuals accountable, whether they're the president of the United States, a member of Congress, or anyone in between. It doesn't matter. That's the whole point of holding people accountable.
I'll ask you more directly. What do you think they're hiding?
I don't know, but it's serious enough that as a new member, this has been one of the things that I've been spending a lot of time on, because the American people deserve to know. And if the president is involved or even associated with this type of criminal activity, the American public deserves to know. And so I'm not saying he is, because I haven't seen him and I don't know, but there is enough concern and credible evidence to date that really demands that these files be released.
You know, I'm a New Yorker, and right now we're dealing with, we're going into a new mayoral race is happening. Mm-hmm. The mayoral race is ongoing right now, but they're going to have it obviously in November. And one of the big issues is affordability. Mm-hmm. That's one of your big issues.
Yeah.
So, it's a local issue for us, but you believe it is a national issue.
For sure. This is day 256 that we've been in Congress. And to this day, this Congress has done absolutely nothing to lower costs. It was the number one issue that I heard on the campaign trail. President Trump promised to lower costs on day one when he was elected. And instead, we're seeing the opposite of that. We're seeing tariffs that are driving up costs for businesses and for Americans. We're seeing actions that are taking away healthcare. We're stealing healthcare from millions of Americans. We're taking away food supports for veterans and seniors and children. And we're doing more to drive up costs on energy. We're making it harder to make ends meet. And it's frustrating. It's an issue that, like, everyone can and should be rallying behind, and we're not doing anything.
When we're here this week, and as we're in line and we're walking around, there are lots of people in blue shirts and lots of people who have an issue with the cancer funding being taken away. I met a lady in line. She has a skin cancer. She said she's in experimental treatment.
Yeah.
She relies on this funding. What is going on? Why do Republicans in this big, beautiful bill and all of those things, why are they taking it away? Who wants to take away cancer funding?
Apparently Republicans in this majority. I mean, I think 80% of Americans agree on 70 or 80% of the things. And instead of focusing our time on the things that unite us, we are going at it hard on the things that divide us. Mm-hmm. The biggest wealth transfer in our country's history, some of the biggest cuts to healthcare in our country's history, stripping away food supports for those who are needy. It's not who we are. And I think at the end of this experience, Trump presidency 2.0, at the end of this Congress, we're going to have a reckoning. And the American people are going to have to decide whether they're going to actually show up and get off the sidelines and demand that we do things differently. I think that we can compromise. I think that we should work together. I'm a Democrat who actually believes in finding ways to partner. And that includes on the big ugly bill. There were things that we should have supported. We could have supported no tax on tips. We could have supported not taxing Social Security as much. But if we would take those issues as a standalone, you would see overwhelming majority support them instead of cramming in these really cruel cuts and these cruel changes that are going to really crush and devastate Americans in the years ahead.
You've heard of the cliche, can't see the forest for the trees. Right? When you're too close to it. As someone with fresh eyes coming in here, what can you tell the American people about something that you didn't know, that they should know, that would be helpful to them and for your fellow lawmakers?
Your voice, your activism matters. We're seeing it with these town halls where I have colleagues who are either coming back and I think understanding that they've awoken something in the American consciousness that they didn't expect, that they need to think about their actions. We're seeing unprecedented number of retirements, especially among my Republican colleagues, because they're getting that pressure from their constituents. And so I would say keep showing up, keep writing, stay involved. At the end of the day, this is a country that's founded on the idea that the power belongs to the people of this country. And that is great, but unless the people claim that power, you're going to continue to see members of Congress, this president, this administration, take it away from you and abuse it.
A lot of folks are worried about our democracy, the Constitution, our country right now. How are you? Glass half full, glass half empty, optimistic, pessimistic?
I have a quote on my whiteboard, and I put it in there a few months ago, and it says, "In all things, it is better to hope than to despair."
Yeah.
And I would not be able to do this job, and certainly not do it well, if I didn't believe in hope. So glass half full, but we have to take these threats to democracy seriously, while also doing our job to sustain what is it's a sacred inheritance we've been given.
So as a Louisianan, we have blue crab. We use crab boil. It is delicious. It is the best thing that you can have. You guys put all this stuff on the crab that my fingers get dirty and it's stuck in it. It's the Old Bay. Now, I like the taste of Old Bay. Not sure I want to crunch on it with my
Crunch it with your hands and your teeth?
No.
Well, we got to actually come back up to Baltimore then. I think we'll change your mind. And I want to thank your fellow Louisianans for sending a lot of our crabs that we actually end up preparing, because we're trying to navigate a lowering population in the Chesapeake Bay, which I still think have better crabs. They taste better. They're not as big. But in Baltimore, it's about how you prepare it. So we'll do a taste off at some point. I'd love to challenge you to that.
So you think some folks, let's be honest, do some folks put too much of the seasoning on it where it's like, it's just a lot of stuff?
I don't think you can have too much. What you want to do is you have too much on the crab, so that if you have your corn on the cob, you can then take some of that and sprinkle it on the corn as you're enjoying that as a side. So
you think you're doing it right and we're doing it
I
right?
know we're doing it right. That's not a question. So
Maybe we'll do a survey on this. I actually think that we got it right, but anyway, we'll have a crab off.
Sounds good.
I'll bring some regular Louisiana with crab boil, regular crab boil, and you bring the Old Bay, and we'll see. We'll do a taste off and see who does it better.
Sounds good.
Donnie, you're a good dude. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.